Disgraces of a feather flock together, as if you needed another reason, a good moral reason to keep up that same energy when dealing with the Bud Light boycott. We got one here right for you. Bill Gates bets on Bud Light's comeback as tech mogul buys 1.7 million shares of disgraced brand's parent company after Dylan Mulvaney partnership tanked. The value are really of all times right now heading into Q4 when, I guess the holiday season is coming back around, but not too many people associate, get-togethers as such. Maybe with tailgating and stuff, I could see where there would be an uptick, but there just really doesn't seem any signs that the company is going to be rebounding right now of all times. Unless, of course, this is some sort of a pseudo-pump strategy, which I don't really know, man. I think Bud Light's been around for a few decades, so it's a little bit too old for Bill Gates. If you know, you know. Bill Gates has put his bets on Bud Light's comeback after the tech mogul bought 1.7 million shares worth of share. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But okay, from the disgraced brand's parent company. So inBev, he bought inBev stock, just a whole lot of it. The Microsoft founder, 67, Microsoft founder, even though that he just stole his technology and was well connected because his mother or something like that. Like, I forget the specifics of the connections that are there, but he wasn't exactly a genius in so much as an opportunist. Can't take that away from him. He definitely made pretty much all of this and the way that you're viewing this all possible, but he's still a frequent flyer on the Lolita Express. So, only so much praise you can afford this creep. Shares via his Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust. Something that apparently he's going to be giving away everything when him and his ex-wife all pass on. Yeah, man, I don't really think there's too much altruism going on here, but what do I know? I just follow the goings on when it comes to Bill Gates, and I just continue to get disappointed by somebody who gets heralded as a genius and somebody who changed the course of human history all those years ago. Shares hold a market value of approximately $95 million, reports a tip ranks. The investment comes as Anheuser Busch companies are still reeling from the effects of the partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney on April 1st. A video and images posted by her caused nationwide boycotts of the beer. Nationwide? North American wide. But don't worry, guys, everything's doing fine abroad. No. This scandal right here spread like wildfire, and it's still, we're 5 months on from this, and it's still a relevant talking point. This is not the first time that Gates has invested in a global beer industry after making a much more sizable purchase months ago. Yeah, $95 million into Bud Light, or I guess, it would be inBev, right? Well, that sounds like a lot of money between you and I, but you take a look at some of his other purchases. Well, then it starts to make that one purchase look like pennies, absolute pocket change for the billionaire. Gates invested $939.87 million in Heineken stock. Well, if he actually knew what was going on, or his investment advisor would have told him, okay, cool, from the Bud Light drinkers that are going to be jumping ship, they're probably just going to be going to another domestic light beer. Like, why don't you invest in Molson Labatt stock? Because that's going to be the most analogous trade-off. But no. He's going to go with the pseudo-bougie foreign dranklage. He acquired 10.8 million shares in February of 17. Oh, okay, according to the Netherlands Authority for Financial Markets filing. Interesting. Okay, and earlier than that, in 2007, Gates made $392 million purchase of a stake in FEMSA, whose brewery sold to Heineken in 2010. Does he have some inside information? Well, he's not Martha Stewart, so he's not ultimately going to get prosecuted, so that's interesting. The beer giant lost his place as America's #1 beer brand all the way back in May. Jeez, it's been a long old time we've been talking about this, but yeah, Bud Light's a drop in volume from August 2022 rather, to August 2023, down over a quarter, 26.7%. Bruh, it's such a cataclysmic and thorough destruction of a company. or at least of a brand, we're never going to see something like that. I just, I'm not wishing for it, but if it happens, it's like, for big news stories this year, it's just been hit after hit after hit after hit. But this one right here, I don't think we're going to see something like this. But then again, I'm also talking like that, and we're going to be heading into a full-fledged election year in 2024, so strap in, kids. It's only going to get weirder from here. As of August 19th, Bud Light sales in off-premise locations such as grocery stores and gas stations plummeted by 15.9% on a dollar basis and down 20.1% on a volume basis in the past year. That just goes to show you that some of the mitigation tactics that they were trying to run, hey, just please buy our beer, we'll basically make it free, didn't really end up working, or it just kind of exposed that they were supplying a bunch of different places at very low profit margins. So this was a bubble that was eventually going to burst. In contrast, rival brand Modelo Especial sales surged with the beer up 10.3% in sales and 9.6% in volume. See, that's the way that it would work if you're a healthy company, but, shadow games with these guys. Bump Williams, head of the data firm Bump Williams Consulting, hi Bump, been a while, who tracked the recent data with Nielsen IQ, said Modelo beat Bud Light as the best-selling beer thanks to its sales in convenience stores. Okay, it's there, it's well advertised, and it actually makes smart decisions when it comes to sponsorships. Like, I do believe, and it's kind of funny, right? Because Bud Light was once their sponsor beer, as Brock Lesnar so eloquently put it. Modelo Especial is the signature brew of the UFC, the most profitable per capita, not on the whole, sports brand coming out of the pandemic. So yeah, smart moves there, not so much on the other, but Bill Gates is going, well, all right, guys, and sevens. Oopsie daisy, just more boosters for everybody. I can't believe they want you to listen to the science. They want you to follow in lockstep with this stupid old geriatric Joe Biden. Oh, he's going to be wearing a mask all the time. Well, great. You think that we're going to follow the guy who also can't make it up a flight of stairs and consistently shits his pants? We're going to go ahead and follow his lead. I don't do any of the latter two things, so why would I go ahead and do the former? In total, organic volume in the second quarter of 2023 fell by 1.4% year over year, with a 14% drop in North America. Talking about Bud Light once again. But at the same time, there was growth in the Asian Pacific region. Yes, of course. Little tight ladyboy asses where you could get all of those passport pederasts to just go ahead and twist off the top of bottles. Morgan Stanley analyst Sarah Simon, what do I care what a woman has to say about beer, told Tip Ranks, after successful execution through COVID, 2023 has seen ABI suffer substantial markets. Oh, thanks. We're so glad that we need to trust the experts to come up with this analysis. Couldn't figure that out for ourselves. Share a loss in the United States, driven primarily by consumer boycotts of its Bud Light brand. You don't say. The number one best-selling beer, not just for the year in North America, but for 22 consecutive years. Oh wow, did you know that their stock went down because their best-selling product is no longer selling? I wonder why. While this makes for very negative headlights, ABI's exposure to emerging markets limits the impact of U.S. share loss. And with the overall baggage of, American, or rather, Western culture that currently carries with all exported products, don't really know if that's going to end up working out well for you. But we have great market potential that's out there. Cool. We heard the exact same thing come through with Disney and the way that they would be marketing their films going forward and to placate to China, keeping it woke at home, but then being super conservative abroad. And how did that end up working for them? Most of their access to Chinese markets all of a sudden just got snatched up. Yeah, always works when you try to just go ahead and pander to the rest of the world. After one-off costs in 2023, we see profitability growth resuming in 2024. Oh, really? Well, if you continue to get such glowing endorsements like Bill Gates to just hop on board, well, I don't really... You'll have some financials to back you up. About a tenth of what Heineken got, but close. See if you can get anybody else, and the guy who definitely yeeted himself's little black book, right? See if anybody else wants to buy some stock. Just call up the Clintons. With a strong cash flow growth driving leverage to the target of 2 times, allowing for both an increase in the payout ratio as well as a resumption of share buybacks Oh yeah, from 2026, current valuation fails to reflect this upside in our view. So basically, we don't know what's going to be happening in the future. Some people say this, other people say that, but we're just going to have to figure it out as we go. This is why you can just go by trends, and everything that you're seeing right here. Modelo is up 9.6%. Bud Light is down by a little bit more than 9.6%. Okay, if you're going to go ahead and try to buy the dip, we still haven't found the bottom, guys. Like, let's be completely honest. We don't have the Labor Day numbers, and I think that will definitely paint a picture going forward, because there's something else that we're going to be knowing for quarter 3 and then for quarter 4 as well. If the current contractions for Bud Light specifically stays on point in the same way that it has throughout the lion's share of this year, their shelf space is going to be reduced with the new planographs that'll be implemented in all of these off-site locations where, you know, the distributors and the frontline staff have to go and stock the shelves. They're not moving as much product. They're going to have lesser shelf space. Modelo is going to have more shelf space. Coors Light, more shelf space. Miller Lite, same thing. Local brews that are benefiting from all of this stuff, they're going to be taking up the space that Bud Light is simply occupying right now. Occupying with old stuff that has to be cycled out and refunded, because they, Anheuser Busch, in all of their infinite wisdom, listening to Alyssa Heinerschneid and her Harvard ISIS Club partners, that's the name of the group that she was a part of, okay? I'm not trying to besmirch her any more than she already did for herself. Listening to woke white women, while we also just heard the opinings of a woman, can't infer anything else other than that, ended up leading to the end of your company, and then also seeking counsel from somebody who can go ahead and assess the field. We don't really know what's going to end up happening. Long and short of it, instead of relying on experts or people that are trusted in the field, why don't you listen to your customers? If you would have done that, we wouldn't have had anything to talk about in April, May, June, July, August, and now going into September. But hey guys, at least you got Bill Gates on your side. That's never bit anybody in the ass before, right? Right. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.